I got the flow. I'm about to pull up. His wishful kindness. And I've been waiting so long. Now I gotta resurface. And everybody talks all the bread and we burn it. Cause I've been feeling cool time. I've been fucking cool time. Turn up.
Welcome back, guys. Another week of Mitten State Sports Corner. We are back at you after another college football week, week 2. A tough one for us Michigan fans. We'll get into that a little bit. Let's say hi to my counterpart here, Brett, with 1T. What's going on?
What's up?
So, yeah, a tough week for us Michigan fans, but we did have a great time down at the tailgate, talked to quite a few people.
Yeah.
So we'll get into that a little bit more. But so, more hockey news. The roster is taking shape. I'm just waiting on
Beer
one
League
more.
Or Red Wings? What hockey league we talking?
Beer League
Okay.
roster is starting to take shape a little bit. I'm just waiting on one more answer, and then we'll be finalized.
So you expect how many 40-goal scorers on this year's team?
14.
14 40-goal scorers. We don't have. Do we have 14 rostered players?
We might.
Well, then
Because
we got ourselves a shot.
I'm banking on attendance being shit again.
So you're expecting like Tony, Blake.
Blake's gonna be a 60-goal scorer.
A 60-goal scorer.
Yeah, Blake's
wow.
gonna be a 60-goal scorer.
So you're gonna have like Ray Bork back there.
God, that's a. It's tough to put Blake and Ray Bork in the same
I'm just
sentence.
saying, if he's scoring 60 goals, I mean that's.
But
Bork had the touch.
yeah. So yeah,
Cal McCarr.
hockey's right around the corner. If you got any specific questions when we bring our guys on that you want us to ask them, obviously shoot us a comment on Facebook, Instagram.
Yep.
And we'll definitely get that going. But yeah, we'll jump into college football here. A tough week for us Michigan fans. But we'll save that a little bit. Let's just do some general college football talk here. So we'll run down the line here. The bigger headline of the weekend was Notre Dame losing to Northern Illinois on that last second field goal, which was, as Michigan fans, I mean, that made that Saturday not
More
suck as
palatable.
bad.
Yeah, I mean, Saturday sucked pretty bad, but watching Notre Dame drop to another mid-level team was really awesome. I mean, last year they lost to Marshall, if you remember.
Last year, 2 years ago, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and this year, I mean, losing to Northern Illinois, which Northern Illinois is for their conference is reasonable, but they have no business beating the number 5 team in the country. You know what I mean? And it's just awesome to watch Marcus Freeman struggle a bit.
Yeah, especially because they got overhyped again after their week 1 win over Texas A&M. Shocker, Notre Dame gets overhyped.
Mm-hmm.
No way. But pretty much everyone else, I mean, ran the table just how they should, aside from Notre Dame. Oregon struggled again, though.
Yeah, I don't know what to think of that. If you recall years past, Michigan had a couple years where they, their first 2 or 3 games, even last year, remember J.J. McCarthy throwing 3 picks in the Bowling Green game, and all of a sudden you're thinking to yourself, like, man, was last year a bit of a fluke or what's the deal here? But I think Oregon is a very talented team. Boise State doesn't, they're not going to go away. They may not necessarily have, deserve to be in a 3-point game, but they're not going to go away. I think my biggest surprise of the weekend, Bowling Green taking Penn State essentially down to the last half of the fourth quarter.
Oh, only lost by a score.
Only lost 34-27. I mean, that's great. I mean,
they hung with them the whole game.
They played their best game of the season, most likely.
They hung with them the whole game. If you look at the stats of the points scored by quarter, they were with them the entire game.
Or how about Tennessee mollywhopping NC State? I mean, it's a ranked team, right? Like
Tennessee is good. Tennessee's like a very, very good.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. But overall, I mean, a lot of scores as expected. Michigan's, I did not expect that. I expected a much closer game. Even though I may not have expected a win, I expected a little bit closer of a game. And, they, quite frankly, really weren't in it, except for after the first quarter and a half. I mean, score-wise, they were in it, but it just didn't feel like they had anything that was going to pull them back in the game.
No, I agree with you, because albeit the score was 7-3 at one point, where it could have been 7-7 if they didn't. I'll get into that play. That play really just gets me.
Missed field goal, missed touchdown, or called touchdown back.
Yeah, because Texas, on their opening drive, missed the field goal, so it gave Michigan some momentum, but they went 3 and out, which not a shock with this offense right now.
It's bad.
And then I think Texas went down, scored, and Michigan had a drive going, and it almost seemed like, all right, maybe we got something flowing here.
Yep.
But then this is it's like 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, like 35, and there's Orgy trotting out to the field. It's like, here we go.
I'm about him coming out, but they got to do something different.
Their playbook for him is so bad. It's so uncreative. It's just so predictable.
Yeah.
Because sure as shit, Texas calls timeout because they see Orgy on the field. They're like, we were probably set up for a pass. Here he is. That means it's a run. So now we're just going to stack the box. And then coming out of the timeout, they go in the exact same formation. It's just, but it's like, how do you not know that when someone calls a timeout because they see a certain formation, they're going to probably come out of that timeout ready for that same formation?
Yeah.
So it gives you an opportunity to switch it up. So then you put them on their heels again. And what happens? Obviously, he gets stopped for a loss because nobody saw it coming. So at all.
There was no audible there. Like, I find that hard to believe, right? Like, they had no backup plan. Everybody knows, obviously in college football, everybody knows that Alex Orgy can run the ball, right? He can do it very effectively.
Apparently everyone knows now he can't throw the ball.
Correct. So it's like, if you're going to send him out there has to be some times where he's just a decoy. There has to be times where he maybe throws a screen pass. You know what I mean? You're going to live and die on some of those screen passes even, but you have to give defenses reason to think he might do something different than run up the middle. Like, what the hell was that garbage? I mean, I think he ran 3 runs for, like, negative yards. I mean, that was awful. An 8th grade
Do you want his actual
coach,
stat line? I got this.
I'm not sure that I do, but I do want to hear it. A middle school football coach could have sat in the stands with us and gone, listen, I can tell you right now they're going to Alex Orgy. Like, we talked to Evan this weekend. He's
Evan from Illinois.
10? How old was he?
He was 13.
13, sorry. 13, and he knew what was happening, right? Like,
Yep.
and that's just, it's crazy to me that somebody as good as our program is, or something, it was that predictable. And I mean, you made a bad situation playing a really good Texas team already much worse.
Alex Orgy, 2 carries, -1 yards.
That's pathetic. Like, what?
And it was the same play both times that they tried to do with him.
Yeah, like, hey, you know what?
Surprise,
I'll tell you
surprise.
what, let's go run the ball. It didn't work. We got negative yards. I'm telling you what we should do. We should do that again. That sounds awesome. Let's try it again.
They won't see it coming.
Yeah, like, get out of here with that hot garbage. Kurt Campbell, I know this is like his first time into the offensive coordinator world, and I try to stick by my boys in blue always, right? I just have a hard time seeing how an entire offseason of preparation led to runs up the middle with Alex Orgy. I don't see how that happens.
There is struggles on both sides of the ball as far as the scheme goes, in my opinion, because we could point. I mean, the defensive front played okay. Texas couldn't really run the ball too much, but Quinn Ewers had all damn day to throw the ball, and none of the receivers were contested ever. So they had all day to catch the ball too. So, and one specific corner, Larry had all that he bargained for all day, and he definitely looked like he was a JV trying to play varsity.
Jair Hill.
You know, when they targeted his ass all game, and he was so out of position every single time. Like, he's 5 to 10 yards away from his assignment, and he literally stands there, watches him catch the ball, then makes a terrible attempt to tackle him. And that one play where he just got straight burned was, God.
Well,
it was
Sharon Moore said it best. I mean, the 135 yards were gained after contact. And you saw that all game. I mean, I know specifically on the play you're alluding to, where it was a little hook route. Yeah, the receiver caught that ball towards the line, towards the end
he's so
line.
Out of position. He's 10 yards behind.
So he does like this slip tackle, right? Throws him right off of him.
Well, because he's so out of position, he's got to run right at him.
Exactly,
and that's a terrible angle
and he
when
takes
you run
off
right
for
at
like
each other.
30 yards, and it's like, Jesus, like, and all I did is heard nothing good things about him. Again, he was a high level player in high school. He it was us in Alabama, all this stuff, right? Like, we know that. I'm not questioning his talent. I am a little concerned, how much of this team last year was what we lost, how much of it was Harbaugh's play calling. Like, I think a little bit of the wrinkles that we always seem to have every game, those 1 or 2 plays a game, I'm starting to think is a little more Harbaugh, because we're now seeing it with the Chargers, if you're not noticing that. But I'm not here to give up on this team. There's a hell of a lot to play for this year. They could turn this around. They could go out and smoke Arkansas State, which is something they need to do.
Yeah,
they need to go out and dominate on all fronts. They need to show a defensive presence. They need to get pressure on the quarterback, right? And then they need offensively.
They need offensive
They
flow,
need to
dude.
roll. They need to go for 300-400 yards. They need to run for $150 and 2 TDs, and then special teams, maybe special team, that could just be extra points and kicks, fine. But just no problems there. A good all-around complete game. And I think going into the USC game, with that kind of, hey, we've shown what we can do, albeit against maybe a lesser opponent. Now the script is there, right? Like we've shown it in game time. Because what they rolled out against Texas, USC is going to just absolutely wipe the dirt with us. I can tell you that much. And they're not even the team I'm worried about. It's Oregon, Ohio State.
Obviously, to be determined on Oregon, given their first 2 weeks. But I
still
agree.
think
But
they
that's
got
still
a better chance.
Yeah, it was honestly embarrassing to watch on all facets of the game.
What do you think of the Jack Tuttle situation?
You got to give him a shot if he's ready to go.
I agree.
You got to, because I understand. Keep trying to ride Davis Warren. Keep trying to let him get his flow.
Yeah.
But it's a tough look when he had that one interception in the, I'm pretty sure it's the early second half, where he quickly just threw the ball. His receiver wasn't even looking at him, and he threw it into double coverage, an easy pick.
That was terrible.
For one, it was super low.
It was a terrible throw.
And it was just like, wait, what are you doing?
Well, I don't know if it was you or somebody else this weekend had mentioned, somebody like Jack Tuttle, who's got some experience, played at Indiana, played in some big environments, Michigan included, right? Played at Ohio State. You don't come back for a 7th year of college football to not, expect to have a pretty good shot at starting or think you're going to start. And experience-wise, he's got more than anybody in the room. There's no doubt about that. Granted, he wasn't like this.
We're talking Tuttle, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
He wasn't this big, flashy guy, but we don't need flashy. We need a Cade McNamara. We need a game manager, right?
We need someone they could at least survey the field and hit a 20-yard pass if it's open.
And read your second look. Come on. These receivers were open a few times this weekend, and we just didn't find them.
And week 1 they were too.
Right. And again, I'm not here to say that's that's all the problem. There's a lot of problems. The offensive line, though, played better against Texas than they did against Fresno State, in my opinion. They got a little more continuity. Honestly, the quarterbacks were not pressured a ton. They were pressured a little bit.
They never got pressure on yours.
They didn't get any pressure on yours. You didn't throw them off their game plan at all.
No,
and that's what killed us more, and the turnovers. God forbid the 10 missed points that they had, and then the turnovers, and you're talking different game, right? It's just, we really weren't, it never really felt close.
No. Honestly, really, just the way Texas came out on that first drive, and we were lucky that they walked away with a missed field goal.
Yeah,
because they moved the ball very well. We got them down to the third down on literally the very first set of downs.
Yep.
But they completed that long pass play that put them on the other side of midfield.
Yep.
And from there and then, you could just tell they're coming out ready to play, and Michigan looks flat.
Well, and that's what's concerning. Is I don't know. I know there's a lot, like I said, we've talked about this, there's a lot of new. There's a lot of new. And so, I do feel that it's our duty, right, to give some benefit of the doubt here. Nobody expected this team to go out and win a natty again. There's people that talk crap about it, but nobody really expected that. I expected them to put up a little bit more of a fight against Texas. There's still too much talent on the team. Is it scheme? Is it Don Martindale turning into Don Brown? Or, you know what I mean? Yeah, is it Wink turned into Don Brown? Is it?
That's unfortunately what it looks like.
Is it that, or is it something else? I don't know. They come out against Arkansas State and hammer them. I'm feeling a little better next week, truthfully. Well, they come out and look like they did against Fresno and make it too close of a damn game. And I'm telling you, wheels are coming off this year.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's definitely a tough draw to get Texas week 2.
Yeah.
When in all reality, I mean, something's bad's got to happen for Texas not make the national championship game this year.
Well,
because damn, are they good?
I mean, at some point you got to play them, right? I mean,
damn, are they good? Well, yeah, of course.
I mean, you might as well get it out of the way now, I guess.
But obviously, this is a young team with a new coaching staff, and obviously new things going on, it's a tough draw to get a team like this week 2.
Yes, yeah, they could have definitely got a more favorable
I think we definitely would have benefited more playing Arkansas State.
Could have played Idaho,
and then played and then play Texas next week.
Yeah.
But then that would put you at Texas or USC in back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, playing Texas at all this year was going to be a tough draw.
We're going to take a quick moment here to honor our sponsors of today's episode. So we're going to start with Crystal Fieldhouse over in Burton, Michigan. It is our home of Beer League Sundays. If you ever want to do a birthday party, you want to do some public skates, some stick and puck, join an adult hockey league, get into some youth hockey league, or do some figure skating, go see Crystal Fieldhouse in Burton, Michigan. We thank you to Michelle for sponsoring us this coming year, and look for our smiling faces on some banners on both rinks this year.
Thank you to FiberLink Communications in Lapeer, Chad, Debbie, Tina, Joel, and the rest of the crew. Thank you so much. M&M4 Properties, Marco and Marissa Mercino, thank you so much for all your support. DCC Construction, thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate it. And also Winged Helmet Media, thank you, Chris, for being a part of this, man, and we're really looking forward to doing some things with you in the future. So, thank you all.
Well, and obviously we go to Texas, I don't think next season, the season after. 27, yeah. So we go to Texas. I think there's a home and home with Oklahoma coming up too.
I think you're correct. Yeah,
Pretty sure.
I'll have to double check, but yeah, I think, overall, I think the sentiment is very similar, from Michigan fans, that they kind of expected this team to take a step back. Obviously, they won all their games last year. They're going to take a step back. We've spoke on this before. They sneak out the win against USC, and you beat one of two of USC, Oregon or Ohio State. You're probably in the playoff as long as you take care of your other games, obviously. But, is that a team that you feel confident in going into, even getting to the Final Four?
No.
Not a chance.
No.
Something's got to change a lot. Is Jack Tuttle the guy? Maybe. Is he not? Maybe. I have seen they have officially shut down the Jaden Davis. He's not playing this season. It's a redshirt season for him. And apparently when he was recruited, that was what his parents and everybody was under that understanding when he got recruited, that his first year was a burn year to learn the offense and set things up. And, we got Brady Hart coming in after this season, recruiting class for 25.
He'll probably get the same treatment then.
So, he's going to burn a year. So that'll give Jaden Davis likely a year or two to mold into this. But we've also got Carter Smith. Carter Smith, mind you, is looking like the best damn player in high school football. I mean, he is a high 4-star right now. And then we've got Jaden Davis, right? Then we've got Brady Hart, who might be a 5-star by the time he gets here. I mean, the position is set up well going forward. And so if this is a lull year, so be it, I guess. I'm okay with taking our lumps. You're not going to win a natty every year. You're not Georgia. You're not Alabama. That's a fact, right? They've had their dynasty runs. Michigan wasn't that way. But I'll take one and one every decade. I'm good with that. If you see some lulls and, some ebbs and flows, that's part of the game. If that means we win a natty every decade, I'm in.
I mean, it's tall ask given
for sure.
how college football is, unless you're Alabama or Georgia or Clemson during those couple of years.
But how do they reload so much? What's the difference, right?
According to Bret and Walker, everyone cheats.
I don't know if you guys caught that on our last show, but he's got some points that are fairly valid.
So. Yeah, we had a good tailgate down there. So obviously we interviewed quite a few. We walked through the tailgate over at Pioneer and caught up with some Texas fans, some Michigan fans as well. But then we walked on over to the Barstool College Football Show setup.
Yep.
And we did get the opportunity to talk to one of their guys, Brandon Walker, for a little bit. He sat down with us for about 5 to 10 minutes, and we just bullshit with him for a little bit. He does not like Michigan, but he
doesn't like Portnoy.
Yeah, he doesn't like Portnoy.
Yeah.
But, so, no, he's a really cool guy. So, obviously, really thank you to them. Thank you to him for giving the time to us. But, really cool. And he definitely predicted it right that Texas was going to mollywop Michigan. I know he's obviously biased, but at the same time, I think there was actually a true...
Yeah, he wasn't far off.
That was a true prediction. So, but, so... How did you like the tailgate on Saturday?
Honestly, from our quote-unquote normal spot, we got shoved off to the side a little bit because of Big Noon Kickoff. But, we were kind of right in the mix. We were right by Big Noon Kickoff. It was a very short walk for us. And we were asshole to elbow pretty much, tent to tent, right? It was tight. But, it was it's a good experience. I think it's always good to see an event like that. There's a lot of big names running around. I think overall the show was pretty good. We got there earlier than hell. My son lost one of our set of mics the minute we got there, so that was excellent.
Anyone to stop talking about Aiden Childs?
14. My son is 14. He'll be 15 in November, and for some particular reason, he's a Michigan State fan. I'm not sure how that happened at all. But all he did the entire way home was talk about Aiden Childs.
Even when we were there.
Well, yeah, that too. All he did was talk about Aiden Childs, and he's the next coming of Jesus. And, this kid's at the time, had one career start at Michigan State, and it was not a good showing against FAU.
He did have a better showing against Maryland, but
Played much better.
He still threw 3 interceptions.
And I'm not sure how you saw that. You were snoozing on the way home.
Yeah, well, I saw the ending.
Yeah, I'm
but
highlight reel.
He threw 3 interceptions again, so he has 5 interceptions in 2 games.
Yeah, I'd be concerned about that.
So he doesn't protect the ball well.
He is mobile, I will say, and he's got a slinger. He can really sling the ball for sure. And so I don't discredit State fans saying he's probably one of their better guys in the last several years. That's probably true.
Yeah,
it's going to be probably 2 years before you see all right, this guy is the dude, right? It's probably gonna be a couple years for that team kind of figures it out. Jonathan Smith's a hell of a coach. I do think he will turn that team into some version of a Big Ten contender. I'm not sure what that looks like, but it's a lot better than 4-8 or whatever the hell they were last year. I do respect what he's done at his stops, and so I think it'd be fun to have that rivalry a little closer again. But I think to answer get back to the tailgate. I mean, it was pretty cool. Typically we're going to be set up right by that crosswalk, going out to the stadium and stuff, so that'd be a little more common. And I'll make sure we get a flag at some point this season to mark our spot. But it was busy, and I was shocked. The biggest shock to me was how well Texas fans traveled.
Oh, yeah.
What are your thoughts on this?
Well, a lot of them, because I talked to a few of them in the game, they said this was the game that they're going to this year because the Red River rivalry with Oklahoma, those tickets are way too expensive.
Yeah.
But then I did tell the guy, I was just like, so what is the difference? He's like, well, those tickets were $1,200 and these were only $750. But I was like, but you flew here.
Right.
And you would drive to Dallas at the Cotton Bowl. But you flew here. So I was like,
you spent the same money.
Apparently math in Texas isn't the strong suit.
They might be good at football, but they surely can't add.
But I was like, sure. I mean, I didn't pay for it, so go for it.
Yeah.
But they were some pretty cool people. A lot of them were very just well, I didn't see this coming. But they're obviously well, you got a whole new coach staff. You pretty much got all new lineup on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
It's going to be a struggle year. It's just how it is.
Oh, of course. And, and I will say we didn't get any real grief from any Texas fans, and it's easier to not give grief when you're winning. But, I will say they were really, like I said, a real respectful fan base. Brett went into the M-Den and bought a Mays sweatshirt because, God forbid, he brought one. And the first thing he does with it is he goes and asks the lady, can you please cut my sleeve to get around my hand condom that he had? I don't know if you guys saw that in our other videos. And, which I know you guys show everybody.
It's off now.
Looky there. Now he's got himself a couple of rings to show that he's shacked up with, looks like multiple people. So, it was just, I was like, man, you go in there and you drop $80 on
it. It was $40.
$80 on a damn.
It was $40.
That's what I remember. $80 on a freaking sweatshirt. And then you say, here, let me go ahead and snip that hand right out of there for me. What? Now that you don't have the cast, that sweatshirt's useless.
No, it's not. That's so untrue.
It looks useless.
No, that's so untrue.
But I will say you were on fire all weekend. I mean, you did great with the whole Barstool thing. You trust your judgment. That worked out good for us. The random tent we stopped up to had an All-American at it that went to Michigan, Matt Butler. There's some videos on our YouTube from that.
1989 All-American in track.
Right.
And he travels to a lot of Michigan games. He lives over in Seattle now, travels to a lot of Michigan games.
And he was a hell of a guy. It was a great
cool
experience
guy.
to talk to, and his buddies there. And, so that was good. I mean, you did great, You did great. So I got to give you your stars when they're due. But I think, obviously the next couple weeks are going to be just as awesome. We're not going into the game this week. So we're actually going to be
giveaway.
Yeah, so we gave away our tickets to this week's game, as what you guys saw, and maybe we do another one this season depending on how things go. We'll see, but so we'll be outside the entire game and try and do maybe a live reaction or something this weekend. I think that'll be kind of cool. But yeah, it was a really aside from the game itself, The experience was awesome. This
Yeah, it was really
weekend.
cool.
It was really good. A really good weekend.
It was just one of those cool things as a sport fan to like see University of Texas football play in person.
Yeah.
Because they're one of those like blue chip teams that you're just like, damn, I actually saw them in person. It's like seeing, say, the Yankees play in person.
For
or
sure.
In the NHL, seeing the Maple Leafs play or
Right.
the Canadians play in person, you
Right.
know?
Right.
So, yeah, it was just one of those like cool, like, wow, I can say like I've watched that team play in person. And hopefully it turns out to be like I was able to watch them in their national championship year.
Yeah, I mean, that would be kind of cool, I guess. That would be, I guess if you're going to get mollywopped by them, I guess I'd rather them be a significant team at the end of the season versus them like 8-5 or something.
I saw a lot of like reaction from just a bunch of reporters saying like this Texas team, the way they go about business and how and everything is they very much look like last year's Michigan team, where they just outwork you.
Yeah.
And they go in, they literally take care of business and they get out.
I'm
And they
not
move
a
on to the
Ewers
next
fan,
week.
but he did have a hell of a game.
Yeah,
He
he
really
looked
did.
good.
He looked really good, accurate. Some real nice passes.
And the times that he did get slight pressure, I mean, he got that ball out quick, but he was still accurate
on
with
target.
it.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say and on target,
Yeah.
which is hard to do. Yeah. So we also ran into a family actually that was set up right next to our tailgate, and they were actually from Illinois, and they have in-laws that have tickets to Michigan home games, and they took advantage of them. And it was the three of them, right? So Jorge, Aaron, and Evan.
Yes.
And we did a little interview with them. You can check it out on our page. It was I think so far, one of our coolest interviews to do.
Yeah, just hit him with trivia, and he knows more than you do.
That's not that hard. I don't know anything on trivia. So, but I don't think that was, I don't think that was, I don't think that was expected. And
No.
I think that it turned, like I said, I think it turned out to be one of our best interviews. But, he's big Michigan. They're all big Michigan fans. They had an extra ticket. So my son originally was going to not go in. Brett was going to go in. And this family says, hey, we got 4 tickets. Let's give Brett 1 ticket. You come sit with me. Leo, come sit with me, whatever, right? And so Brett goes and sits with this family that he met 20 minutes prior to for the whole game.
I had a hell of a time.
And
Probably
had
a better time I had with you.
That's probably not wrong, especially because we were surrounded in our seats by Texas fans.
There was a lot over by where we were.
Oh,
too.
my God, there was so many.
We were pretty much in the exact same seat, just on the other side of the stadium, by the way.
Oh, were you? Okay.
It was pretty much the exact same.
Okay. So, yeah, and they have graciously invited us down to check out some of Evan's football games, which we may do. But we're talking about, maybe going to visit some other time. So, but I think it might be a cool thing to have him phone in every now and then.
Oh, yeah, we
Little
could
bit of
definitely get
sports
that.
talk. But yeah, definitely check it out, guys. I mean, he's just, as Brett alluded to, a 13-year-old, as he described, and I say he as in Evan, described as a mobile quarterback. And you never know what could happen. He's a Michigan fan, so he's already got a nice leg up. So we'll see what happens.
So
he's not Leo,
so
he's a State fan.
Yeah. So watch for him in his recruiting class, apparently.
Recruiting class of 2064, whatever. Yeah,
I was
whatever
trying to
time
do
it
the
is.
math in my head.
I'm not good at that.
So
yeah, no.
But let's jump into shout out Jorge, Evan, and Aaron.
Yes,
it was a great time meeting you guys.
Awesome.
So, and obviously, thank you all for your support too. Obviously,
sure.
they're huge supporters now. So
yeah, they're big fans. We'll see them again soon for sure.
We'll jump in real quick to his next opponent, which is the Arkansas State Red Wolves.
Mm-hmm.
So they are from the Sun Belt.
Coached by Butch Jones. You remember Butch Jones from old Tennessee? He coached the Tennessee Volunteers. Butch Jones coaches this team. Yep.
Really?
He does.
I did not
know
know
they're
that.
2-0 this year, first time since 2008.
Yeah, did you see who they played?
Listen, we're 1-1. That's the record. You are what your record says you are, right, Brett? I mean, I understand quality of opponents are not the same.
They've won by a combined 7 points.
Win's a win, buddy.
Yeah, Central Arkansas is a huge win.
So, regardless, coached by Butch Jones, but he said some things, that, Michigan plays a tough game and all the stuff you would expect. And, Butch had his struggles at Tennessee, a lot of recruiting violations and things that ended up being a problem, getting him dismissed, I believe. But overall, he's not the worst coach that they could have, that's for sure.
No.
And it sounds like he's leading them into a decent frame of football.
But yeah, I mean, as a Michigan fan, I would hope, obviously them getting mollywopped would make them mad, and be able to take it out on someone like this.
I hope we see Tuttle.
Is he projected to?
No, he's throwing. He was questionable this past week at Texas. Like, that's where he's been upgraded to, is questionable, which you're usually ready to go.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah.
But obviously, their 2 games sent 34-31 over Central Arkansas and 28-24 over Tulsa.
Yeah, some big wins there.
Yeah, Michigan should win. Obviously, they should win, but I would love to see them run the table and finally get one of those good confidence games in, like you usually do at the beginning of the year, like Ohio State's opponents have been so far.
Well, yeah. And do you have a score prediction for us, Brett? What do you think?
35. I think the score is going to be very similar to Fresno State score, but it's not going to be as close.
You think they're going to get ahead early?
Yeah, I think it's. So I'm going to say like 35-7.
I was going to go 42-14. And I say 14 because I think they get a garbage time touchdown late with the backups in, and they score one early just to punctuate that they're playing. And I say that as nice as possible. Other than that, I do think Michigan gets the rebound this week and tries to prep for USC. But God forbid they look this team over, as we saw with Notre Dame. It can happen, and they make this a close game, like we just talked about. I mean, this season's going to be in trouble. Yes,
I agree. Yeah, if Michigan comes out and struggles again, then definitely all the message boards, all Twitter, good. Michigan fans are going to blow up.
Well, they should drop out of the rankings at that point. I mean, if you're struggling with Arkansas State, even if you win that game, I mean,
I would agree.
You don't deserve to be there, in my opinion.
So let's look at some key games happening this weekend. So we got 20th ranked Arizona against 14th ranked K-State on Friday. So that's a cool little matchup there.
Yeah.
Get the weekend started. Alabama, Wisconsin.
That's an interesting matchup.
At Camp Randall.
Woo, and in Wisconsin's not a pushover team. They are not. They play good defense, and they got Luke Fickell, who plays foundational football. Mm-hmm. So Alabama better watch out. That's not a pushover game.
So we got LSU, South Carolina. That's where game day is going to be at this week too.
Is that in
Columbia?
It's in Columbia. Okay, great.
Then you got Boston College, Missouri.
BC.
There you go.
On, Bill O'Brien.
Yeah, let's keep going, Boston College. Let's keep going. Get that momentum so you beat the hell out of Sparty.
Don't they play State in a couple weeks?
Yes, they do. So keep that momentum going. Oregon State early for that game.
Not the same game it was last year.
No.
With Aiden Childs.
So
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Oregon State in Corvallis. So it is a road game for the Ducks. And obviously, given their current struggles, who knows what we'll see.
Right.
But looking at Notre Dame's got Purdue.
Or is that in South Bend?
That is at Purdue.
Okay. Again, it's not a big road game for them either, right? I mean, it's right down the road.
True, but coming off a loss,
they better be.
And for some not apparent reason, Purdue had a bye week last week, so I don't know how that worked in week 2.
Why did they travel west in week 1? That's a lot of times.
That's
a lot of times. What I've noticed, Big Ten did is if you have a west trap, like you go to Washington, go to USC. UCLA, something like that, they give you the week off after, or they give you the week off before, one or the other.
No, they played at home.
Well, I don't know why they did that.
Yeah, that's not a good look there.
It's not.
Let's see what else we got as far as good games go. Texas, UTSA, so another big win for them.
Right.
Georgia, Kentucky. I don't know how Kentucky looks, but
they've got some guys that committed to Michigan.
They got some good. Kentucky's always a little sneaky.
Yeah.
But then, so how did you like Nebraska giving it to Colorado?
I'm telling you right now, I did not like Matt Rule in the NFL. I do like Matt Rule in college. I liked what he did at his prior stop. I think that with Raiola, I do think Nebraska is an 8-win team this year.
And they're coming, man.
I think they're an 8-win team this year. So far.
So obviously, I'm not a fan of Colorado at all. So I like seeing them get slapped around pretty good. So yeah, Nebraska is definitely looking better, obviously. And they had the tools last year. They were just missing that one piece, and they did get that in quarterback this year. And it's showing.
And he is good too.
He is good.
Have you seen the comparisons to him and Patrick Mahomes?
Yes,
oh my goodness gracious. We get Chris Collinsworth on here right now. Butter them all up. And Patrick Mahomes.
Oh yeah, he would love it. He would love it. But sounds like we're gonna make our way out for this week. So obviously, give us a follow on all of our social medias. Check us out there. Interact with us. We love talking with you guys.
Yeah.
So let's hope for better weeks for Big Blue here coming this weekend against Arkansas State.
Yep.
Last week's in the past. Last week was last week, so let's keep it rolling.
Yeah, and come down and see us at the tailgate, guys. Like I said, we're going to be down there literally all day. We're going to get down there early again. Come on down and check us out. And we still got some Winged Helmet merchandise, so feel
Beat
free.
State, and obviously that's
Yes, and it says Beat State, long sleeve. They're all blue, $10. I mean, there's nothing on that campus that's $10, for God's sake. So come and buy a shirt. Support Winged Helmet Media as well as us as well. And, you never know what you could win, what you could enter yourself to win. So other than that, I think that's it for this episode here. Do you have anything you want to add before we go?
No, I think we're all good. Just obviously, let's go Blue. Hopefully a better week. And that's really about it.
All right, guys. We'll see you later.
All right. Have a great week, guys.